Hello, friends of Komodo platform. Hello, friends of Bitcoin, crypto price charts, technical analysis. Hello, I'm Giuliano. It is the 24th of December. Yes, bringing you good tidings and cheer for this Christmas Eve of 2021. Let's share the screen and look at Bitcoin price chart. Yeah, all right. As you know, I'm here. Okay, I'm here to share a bit of technical analysis thoughts with you. Oh, come now, all ye faithful. Give me some moving crosshairs, please, that I don't need to rejigger this. Come on. These people. There it is. Okay, so sorry for that hiccup. Here we go. Bitcoin price chart on the weekly. I want to focus mainly on the daily, and then we can come back to the weekly. Yeah, so daily price chart. What are a few considerations? Okay, major consideration is we have clearly broken out of this downsloping channel, downtrending resistance line. We have broken out. So that means this current trend of move, this current angle of move, angle of Merkel is done, and we are out to the upside. Doesn't mean that we are now up only per se. My thinking here, okay, quick TLDR, is possibly up to this next trend line and then down. Now, question is, are we retesting the channel and then going higher? Are we just retesting just generally the lows here? Okay, whatever that means. Okay, even these lows here. So what are we retesting? But the general sense is we're out of this downtrend, so it doesn't look like we'll be following this downtrend towards the lower levels. Okay, we still are in an overall downtrend, and I'll show you a little bit more on that note. However, we are within a potential wedging, which, yeah, it's going to lead us either here or we are going to make our way out very soon. So let's take a look at some key levels and factors that we can pay attention to as we watch this price move. All right, now here's the thing. I still think that what we have here is not enough to match this move. Oops, to match this move here, okay, and this move here. All right, so and I do believe still that we are in a degree of move which is still a counter or down move compared to this move. Okay, each wave on this bigger scale has countered the other wave. That's what they always do, down, up, down. But it doesn't just have to be in price, it's also in time. And based on previous time analysis, we have a few, there's definitely a cluster of time here that's ready and ripe for the completion. So we don't have to just go down to complete. We could also just take some time to complete, and then this whole thing would match, with the relationships before it. Okay, as long as we reach these time levels here, then we are in a completion zone. Okay, yeah. Now, my number one thought here is, okay, we are, there's a good likelihood we're not coming down here, but there is still the likelihood that we are. Few reasons why, but based on the trajectory now of this downtrending, there's probably, I don't think we're going to fall back into the channel, so we might not get all the way down there in the time that it's going to take us to get where we're going. So the next thought is, let's do this. Next thought is, let's use some trend lines to our favor. So we're going to extend here. I'm going to get into the lines. Okay, we're going to extend this, what we have here. Okay, what we have here is based, this downtrending resistance is based on this price action here. Okay, it's the most recent downtrending resistance after the channel. Okay, so we've got this price action. Now, what we do actually is we connect it even further back here, and we say, all right, there is actually some relevance to this price. We have also some turning point here, okay, we got above, came back below. Again, this it's not an exact line per se, but it's generally this zone. It's like a bit of a there are these forces out there on this price chart, and it's clearly a force. So I do believe we are coming towards this line to test this line. That has been said before. Now, the question is though, what are we doing after that? Interestingly, this line pretty much confluences with some previous resistance support level zone. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. But it is the next important downtrending resistance, confluencing with a bit of a horizontal support resistance. Okay, you see that? So that's the idea. And that's around the 53.5 level, which, yeah, makes sense totally. Okay, so let's see what happens with this 53.5 level. We'll keep it here. I'm not sure if the getaurox chart is going to hold it for us. So yeah, it's happened a few times now where I haven't had my info held where I wanted it, and I've had to redo it, but that's okay. That's one thing I like about the charts is it's a pretty simple to do. We're just looking at some trend lines, some channels, and we're looking at the price action, and we'll look at some retracements. Okay, so what's another thing that pops out to me is we have this long-term high here, and we have this next important high, and they look like they match with this price action here. So let's do another one of these long cutting trend lines. Now, other people have shown this trend line before, now that I think about it, right? And there it is. It was in effect all the way back in 11th of December. So people have been looking at this trend line for some time now. Even before that, as it was coming down, people had their trend line above at these top price levels. And so of course it was a potential support level. So there you go. And that's what it was and continues to be. It bounced. Okay, good bounce. So now what you see happening is this basically this wedging formation towards this price zone here, which in time and price really matches and fits. It also offers the 61.8% retracement, which is super strong to the upside, but at the same time, you know, it is enough. And then and it maintains a trend, but it does also, it makes this whole flat-ish pattern less. Yeah, it just makes it a lot stronger. But anyway, that's a bit of a C wave failure, if you might say that. But we'll see. See, it also leaves room for the price to fall down. But I do get the sense that one way or the other, okay, I do think, and I did draw an arrow before, but it has been erased. I do think we will get something like this, you know, whether it requires something like that, or whether it's just a one-off, whatever it's going to be. But I get the sense we are going to test this line, the downtrending line. Then we're going to retest either the channel line and or the downtrending trend line from here. Okay, maybe confluencing with the 61.8% retracement. But so far, I think we will stay within this. It's either that or we test this downtrending and we break out right away. But based on time analysis, I'm guessing that the price falling back down, you know, get a bit of excitement. People maybe start building longs around this levels even more, and then it breaks down on them. Now the danger then becomes creating some sort of head and shoulders, right? So we could take this trend line here, okay, and basically we start getting something like this, where we get an interesting, you know, uptrending here, low. So this bigger low here. We get the next higher low, higher low, higher low. This trend line, is it going to hold? So that seems interesting. This is where I get the sense maybe we're going to go a bit sideways here. Maybe we are sticking around these levels and not going lower down in this wedging formation. All right, so we're going to see, it's going to be the fight of this uptrending support here versus these downtrending support, support and resistance? Is this uptrending support or is this downtrending support going to come into play? Because inside here, where we are in this triangle here, right now, the first support is the uptrending support. So yeah, I feel like, okay, test, come here, break that support, come back, test that, come back down, and then let's get out of here by the new year when people think, oh, what's going on? And actually, I do think it would have to be something where it scares a lot of people and then it's boom, and it's really boom off to the races where people can't really catch up. They're looking for ways to get in and it just doesn't keep up. It just keeps going too fast. That's how it seems like it has to be. Otherwise, the money gets in too much too easily. And that's not how the market seems to work. Okay, so now we have these trending lines, and I get the sense we are pulling something like this. Now, are we gonna, I don't know, do we break down and come back up and go down? The exact pathway, who knows? Okay, but I think as we start going to new highs, it really rockets up there and leaves everyone in the dust. And then once people really start buying, then we can turn back around and correct. And I get the sense that there's a lot of, this whole year has been a lot of distribution and reaccumulation and position setting overall. So that's pretty cool. All right, so a couple of things to consider then after that. That's the basic idea right now. Still possible to go down to the 30,000 levels, but less likely now that the channel has been breached to the upside. Okay, so what are we saying? Next, we are saying, what kind of count are we looking at? Recently, I've been thinking something like this. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. And then the market's gonna go, who knows? I mean, it could just go so wild that people think, oh, it's gonna be over, it's gonna be over, it's gonna be over. It makes that move. And this becomes just one wave, they're all one wave after another, right? So now we have this bigger degree wave, we get some sort of a correction and then go even higher. And maybe I get the sense that it's not going to be on what everybody's expecting. It'll be close, but it'll be different. And yeah, so we'll see what this ends up looking like. But the way that I get this whole thing becomes one wave. All right. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into that, but what ends up happening now is the other option is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC for the two wave. However, if that's the case, right? If that's the case, what am I trying to get my thoughts on here? 1, 2, 3. If we are 4 and then a 5, what we're looking for now in terms of trend lines, supportive trend lines, is a 2 to 4 trend line. And so let's take it to the weekly. Okay, and imagine it again like this, some sort of, okay. Now, it's gonna be hard and fast, I imagine. Okay, so what ends up happening here is we have a 0 to 2 trend line, and generally it gets breached in the fourth wave. Or if it, it gets breached or touched, or it comes into play in some form or fashion. So let's create the 0 to 2 trend line and see, and we'll make it a channel, in fact, and see what happens. So 0 to 2. And this is regardless of whether or not, there we go. Interesting, huh? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? So this is regardless of what degree or number or relationship this wave has with this and with this, okay? Some people like to call it 1, 2, and like some sort of 3, 4. Fine, it doesn't matter because this becomes still the beginning of this current formation and degree that we're working with. So it doesn't matter. Currently, my thesis is that this wave is actually part of this correction here, and the whole thing is 1 degree because of this trend line. See, maybe on a logarithmic scale, a linear trend line doesn't hold for the entire thing, but I think a linear trend line should hold for adjacent waves, so that an up-down move should hold with the next up-down move in the same degree. Otherwise, it gives information. So what ends up happening is based on other times of trending, whether I want to take it from here or it ends up taking from around here. The next trend line that gets touched is, here it gets broken. If I use this as the end of the down move, we break it too significantly over here. So I think that really that trend line needs to be whether you're here or here, it's going to touch this line here. Okay, whether it's here or whether it's here, it's going to be going after this line here. And then when we use the wicks, it definitely proves that if you are using wicks, that really this is the significant low after this down move, because of its relationship with the beginning of the up move, whether that beginning is here or whether that beginning is here. Okay. Yeah. So, but then it's really, for me, I'm just thinking about adjacent waves. So in that sense, this becomes the area of concern for the significant low, and we start working with this as a 0, 1, 2, 3, and we're in a 4, and then to a 5 of 1 degree of a wave up. And then we'll see what the degree of correction looks like, the similar degree. Now, seems like everything is expanding, but maybe not. Maybe this is just going to be the same type of proportionality as previous times, but maybe just expanding by a little bit only. Doesn't matter. All right, let's go into this a little bit more and see that this 0 to 2 trend line confluences beautifully with where we're bouncing here on this weekly price chart. And yes, if we use candles, we get some wicks that go below and do whatever, but incredibly, this is quite significant in my opinion. And yeah, this doesn't take into account the wicks down here, but I think that on a weekly level, where everyone settled up at the end of the week is a fair place to look. So interestingly, now the question becomes, now that we look at this with the context of the daily chart we were already looking at, we broke this downtrending channel, we're above it now. There's a next slight resistance line, but on a weekly price chart, really what's the resistance? It's where we are right now currently with the price. And so the next spot would be into the mid to high 50,000s on the weekly. So on the weekly, I wonder what is next. Maybe we're going to break down out of this, we're up here and then we come out of the channel. Maybe we don't. And yeah, we're 50K is our new floor. Very possible. All right. But if we do break out of this channel, that leaves room for, it's tough to say, maybe we just break out briefly and then we're back in and up. Whatever ends up happening though, my whole point here is that we're going to find where the 2 to 4 trend line would be. Okay, and now why is this the 2 and not this after we have like a 1 and a 2? Because again, with these trend lines, it just cuts off all of that price. And so based on Neely method, we would keep moving the trend line towards the price, boom, until we get the next lift off. So this would become the end of the correction move. All right, now, and the reason this whole thing is the correction rather than just this part here has to do with time, I think, relating to all of this structure. Although, it could also fit that this is a 1 and this is a 2 and this is a 3 and this is a 4 and this is a 5, and then that whole thing is one wave, and then we have an A and a B and a C, and this whole thing is one wave, and then they match, and that's fine. And that brings us over here. It brings us to this February time frame. So, you know, there is room for more downturn for sure. There is definitely room for downturn. And then once you get out of this thing, then who knows where the next move is. Who knows what the markets are going to do, and markets is all about confidence. And so what's coming in the new year, what are people going to feel in the markets, what's going to happen, we don't know. None of this financial advice, but I get the sense that there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of optimism right now. There's a quick to turn around into a bullish sentiment. So yeah, we'll see if that can continue. All right, but on a weekly time frame, it's very interesting where we have turned around, and let's see where we get to before we find the next stop and see what the next low leads to. Is it a higher low, or yeah, are we coming out, and then what's our next move from there? This head and shoulders, just maybe it wouldn't be such a clean head and shoulders, but who knows? We're going to see what ends up happening, but I think it'll be exciting either way. I don't know if we've fully cleared out the negative momentum that we need here on the weekly time frame. And so, yeah, what does that mean? It means that we're really in the sideways potential right now. I'm going to, not sideways potential, the uncertainty potential. We gotta have to watch more closely. That's what it is. When it's something is up around here, it was okay to say, yeah, we're likely coming down. Now it's like, yeah, maybe we're going to continue down, but what's the pathway? What's going to look like, and what type of lows are we going to reach? So here you have it. I hope that this has been informative for you on the BTC type of thinking. Everything is still reasonable, and yeah, I'm excited to see what's coming next. And if we want to look at, just one more thing, is a retracement from the top. We have this potential now. Yes, we went to 61.8% roughly on the A wave, but we also have this potential to come back down to the 38.2 as the end of the corrective move and go higher. So that's an interesting thought. And the other thing is, if we take it from our, let's say, beginning of the third wave, then we really, like, it's there. It's basically the same thing. And we really have this potential to come to the 38.2, bounce off of it, and go. So there you have it. Keep watching. Currently, it's still in the 40,000 level, this 38.2. So who knows? But yeah, on a daily price chart, let's see what ends up happening here. We've got this uptrending channel, so we're going to keep it. This downtrending channel is pretty much done, so we can relieve ourselves of that. And let's see what ends up happening here with this price action. Okay, remembering we have a bit of an uptrend here from previous price action, and we have these downtrending supports, resistances turned supports, and these resistances here. Okay, all right, cool. I hope you're doing well. Maybe Santa will come around and gift you something real nice this Christmas. Well, maybe you don't get gifts from Santa, whether you're naughty or you don't believe in Santa, therefore if you don't believe in it, it can't happen, that kind of thing. All right, this is looking beautiful. Let's see how this turns out. And until next time, wishing you love, peace, and happiness. I'm going to go do that, then I'm going to go do that, and we will see in future videos each other, okay? All right, take care for now, okay? Yeah, goodbye.